Have you ever stopped to think about what life would be like without electricity? No lights at the flick of a switch, no phones to scroll through, no Netflix to binge watch. It's almost impossible to imagine, right? But for most of human history, that was the reality. So, how did we go from darkness to the dazzling, electrified world we live in today? The story of electricity isn't about one single person or one single aha moment. It's a long, fascinating journey of curiosity, bizarre experiments, and brilliant minds building on each other's work over centuries. Let's rewind the clock and uncover how humanity harnessed one of nature's most powerful forces. Our story starts way back, over 2,600 years ago in ancient Greece. The philosopher Thales of Miletus noticed something peculiar. When he rubbed amber, which is fossilized tree resin, with a piece of fur, it suddenly gained a strange power. It could attract light objects like feathers and bits of straw. The ancient Greeks called amber electron, and that's where we get our modern words like electricity and electron. For them, this was just a curious magical property, a fun party trick. They had no idea they had just stumbled upon the very first principle of static electricity. For 2,000 years, that's pretty much all it remained, a quirky phenomenon with no practical use. Fast forward to the year 1600. An English physician named William Gilbert decided to take a closer look at this amber effect. He was the personal doctor to Queen Elizabeth I, but his real passion was science. Gilbert discovered that it wasn't just amber. Many other substances, like diamonds and glass, could be electrified by rubbing them. He coined the Latin term electricus to describe this force. Gilbert meticulously documented his findings in his book De Magnete. He was the first to really differentiate between static electricity and magnetism, which people often confused. He was essentially the father of electrical studies, turning a forgotten curiosity into a legitimate field of scientific inquiry. But still, the electricity he was studying was static, a stationary charge. It couldn't do anything yet. The next giant leap happened in the 18th century, a time buzzing with scientific excitement. This is where Benjamin Franklin, one of America's founding fathers, enters the scene. You've probably heard the famous story of him flying a kite in a thunderstorm. While the details might be a bit embellished, he was smart enough not to get struck by lightning directly. Experiment was real and incredibly important. In 1752, Franklin wanted to prove that lightning was just a massive form of static electricity. He flew a kite with a metal key attached to the string. As the storm clouds gathered, he noticed the loose threads of the kite string standing on end. He then brought his knuckle close to the key, and a spark jumped between them. This confirmed his theory. Lightning was electrical. This discovery was monumental. It demystified lightning, taking it from an act of angry gods to a natural, scientific phenomenon. More practically, it led to his invention of the lightning rod, a simple device that has saved countless buildings from fire. Franklin also gave us key vocabulary we still use today, like positive and negative charges, battery, and conductor. But even with Franklin's breakthrough, electricity was still a fleeting spark. The challenge was how to store it and make it flow. This is where two Italian scientists, Luigi Galvani and Alessandro Volta, come into play. Their story is a classic scientific rivalry. In the 1780s, Galvani was dissecting a frog. He noticed that when his steel scalpel touched the frog's leg, which was hanging on a brass hook, the leg twitched violently. Galvani believed he had discovered animal electricity, some kind of life force inherent in living tissue. He thought the frog's muscle was a living battery. Alessandro Volta, however, was skeptical. He believed the electricity wasn't coming from the frog itself, but from the reaction between the two different metals, the brass hook and the steel scalpel, with the moist frog leg acting as a conductor. To prove his point, he began experimenting. He stacked pairs of zinc and copper discs, separated by pieces of cardboard soaked in salt water. When he connected the top and bottom of this pile with a wire, he created a steady, continuous flow of electricity. In the year 1800, he had invented the world's first true battery, which he called the voltaic pile. For the very first time, humanity had a reliable, controllable source of electric current. This invention changed everything. It was no longer about static sparks. It was about a continuous flow of power. The unit of electrical potential, the volt, is named in his honor. Volta's battery opened the floodgates for a wave of new discoveries in the 19th century. Scientists finally had a tool to properly study electricity. In 1820, a Danish physicist named Hans Christian Ørsted made a discovery by accident. During a lecture, he noticed that when he switched on an electric current, the needle of a nearby compass twitched. He realized that an electric current creates a magnetic field. This was the first time a direct link between electricity and magnetism was established. It was a revolutionary idea. Just a year later, in 1821, the brilliant English scientist Michael Faraday took Rysted's discovery a step further. If electricity could create magnetism, he reasoned, could magnetism create electricity? He set up an experiment where he moved a magnet inside a coil of copper wire. And it worked. Moving the magnet induced an electric current in the wire. This principle is called electromagnetic induction, and it is the single most important discovery for our modern electrical world. Why? Because it's the basis for the electric generator. Instead of relying on chemical reactions like in a battery, we could now generate massive amounts of electricity just by spinning a magnet inside a coil of wire, or spinning the coil around a magnet. Every power plant in the world today, whether it's hydro, nuclear, or coal, works on this principle discovered by Faraday. He also invented the first simple electric motor, laying the groundwork for turning electricity into motion. With generators now possible, the next challenge was how to use this electricity. The most obvious application was light. In the early 1800s, an English chemist named Humphrey Davy invented the electric arc lamp. He used a massive battery to pass a current between two charcoal rods, creating an incredibly bright arc of light. It was powerful but impractical for home use. It was too bright, burned out quickly, and was a fire hazard. The race was on to find a safe, long-lasting, and affordable electric light for the masses. This brings us to Thomas Edison, the name most people associate with electricity. Edison was not so much a lone inventor as he was a master innovator and businessman. His genius was in taking existing ideas and perfecting them, turning them into commercially viable products. He knew the arc lamp wasn't the answer. He needed a small, incandescent bulb that glowed rather than sparked. The key was finding the right filament, the tiny wire inside the bulb that heats up and glows when electricity passes through it. Edison and his team at his famous Menlo Park lab tested thousands of materials. They tried everything from platinum to beard hair. Finally, in 1879, they found success with a piece of carbonized bamboo fiber. It glowed for over 1,200 hours. The practical, long-lasting light bulb was born. But Edison's vision was bigger than just a light bulb. He knew that for his invention to succeed, people needed a way to get electricity into their homes. So, he designed and built the entire electrical infrastructure to support it. Generators, wiring, fuses, switches, the whole system. In 1882, his Pearl Street station in Lower Manhattan went online, supplying electricity to 85 customers. It was the world's first commercial power grid. However, Edison's system used direct current, or DC. DC flows in one direction and is difficult to transmit over long distances without significant power loss. This is where another genius, Nikola Tesla, enters the picture. Tesla, a former employee of Edison, was a brilliant but eccentric visionary. He championed a different system, alternating current, or AC. AC can have its voltage changed easily using a transformer, allowing it to be sent efficiently over hundreds of miles and then stepped down to a safer voltage for use in homes. This led to the famous War of the Currents between Edison and Tesla. Edison publicly discredited AC, claiming it was dangerous, while Tesla, backed by industrialist George Westinghouse, proved its superiority. Ultimately, AC won out because of its efficiency and practicality for building large-scale power grids. Today, the electricity that comes out of your wall socket is AC, a testament to Tesla's vision. And that's how we got here. From a Greek philosopher rubbing amber, to Franklin flying a kite, to Volta's first battery, Faraday's generator, and the epic battle between Edison and Tesla. The discovery of electricity was a relay race of human ingenuity, passed from one brilliant mind to the next across centuries. It is a story that proves how simple curiosity can spark a revolution that lights up the entire world.